This episode was sponsored by one of my previous guests, the amazing Demora Avarice. So make sure you go check out her episode as well as her links in the description below. And welcome back to the Huge Boob Corner. I am your host, Peter McLean, and I just want to say for everybody who supports the show, thank you very much. And if you want to keep supporting the show, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe because it really helps us grow. Now, today I have a very fresh face. Well, not super fresh, but fresh enough in the adult industry, an extremely sexy and busty MILF who I can't wait to get to know. Please welcome Karissa Koxx.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome. So, your first AVN, huh?
Well, I was here last year, but just as
an attendee?
Plus one for my friend who was new in the industry last year.
Okay.
So I came with her because she's single, and I was like, yeah, sure, I got nothing else to do, and
nice.
That's how I'm here this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you came here again, just more like to support a friend or for your own sake now?
No, this year is for me.
Okay, this year you're actually, okay.
Yeah, this year because I started creating, I think I did my first collab like the end of February.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so
coming up on your 1 year.
Yes. Yeah, I am.
Well, so how did it start? Like, how did you start making adult content?
Well, when I came to AVNs with her, of course, I went to all the parties, and the very first party we walked into, people were like, "Oh my God, I want to work with you," and I was like, "Wait, whoa, no, I'm just here, you know."
Yeah.
And then, of course, I'm like texting my husband about it, and he's like, "Babe, do it," you know, and I was like, "No way," and then I came home after the whole week at AVNs, and we talked about it, and I was like,
okay,
what do I have to lose?
Had you thought about ever doing adult work in the past?
No.
Really? No.
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
I hadn't. I mean, my kids are all grown now. So when they were younger, I would have never out of, I guess, respect for them.
Yeah.
But now they're all adults and they all know what I do.
And it doesn't bother them?
One of my sons doesn't like it, but the rest of them actually don't care. And my daughter helps me all the time with safe for work stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
So the idea, so the idea never really occurred to you until you came here last year,
right?
For it,
yeah.
Okay. Well, did you watch porn?
No,
you never.
We
really
don't really watch porn either. We have a really good sex life, so we never needed or felt the need to incorporate that. Yeah. So I had no idea how any of it worked.
So you came in almost blind.
Totally blind, no clue. Yeah, because he just didn't watch it.
So what was that first collab? Was it a boy, girl?
It was a boy, girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was somebody you met here? Or did somebody you knew?
So I have a few friends in the industry, which is, I think, how I got where I am so quick because I got connected with so many people through my friends. But he's a local to Phoenix.
Okay.
And two of my friends had worked with him, so then I worked with him. And then it's just been rolling ever since.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you created an OnlyFans page or a...
Yeah, I created an OnlyFans. Well, actually, I'm on all the sites. So basically, when I decided, picking my stage name took a couple week process.
Really?
Yeah, because we needed something that flowed, that fit me, and also something that I could get the handles everywhere. Because I have some friends who have to have underscores and this, and so it was actually my daughter and her friend at the time would sit, and I would pick a name, and then we'd put it into Pornhub to see if there was a creator with the name or whatever. So then, so we got all that. So I'm on all the sites just as Karissa Koxx.
Okay.
So that's been nice to be able to get them all.
So you really just hit the ground running when you started?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started shooting and then it was continual?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I shot, I think 52 scenes last year from February till...
1 a week? Well, if you you had a full week.
Well, no, I had surgery in August, so I took off 10 weeks, and then I only shot, I think 13 scenes after that, so the rest were all from February to August. I was just working, traveling. I was in Vegas a bunch of times, been to LA to work, I've been to Tampa, I've been to Miami, just working.
And how has the experience been? Pretty positive?
Oh, super positive.
Yeah.
have only met and worked with really amazing people, and a lot of them I've actually become like good friends now with. And I think because I'm older, like people don't really try crap on because I'm older, right? So they can't
You're a
really
little
get
more life
one,
savvy.
right? So they really can't get one over on me because I'll hear like, so-and-so, he did this, but that wasn't my experience at all, you know? And I just think it's an age thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that can be an asset because also you're going into it from a perspective of, well, you've already lived, a portion of your life, and you're not at, like, again, you had your family, you had your kids, and they're at a point now where, if this is what mom does, then all right, it's her choice. She's an adult, we're an adult, that's her life.
Yeah.
And that probably makes it, and I mean, I don't know. I think also because your husband sounds very supportive.
Oh, super supportive. Yeah, he'll actually be here today. He's flying in today.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that, I'm sure, having a very supportive partner helps.
Oh yeah.
So it just kind of really kind of boggles my mind that you never thought of doing it before.
No,
because you seem like a very sexual person because you were in the lifestyle, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we'll talk about that later.
We were. But no, I don't know. I think I just didn't want that out there.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been until like I've been trying to stay kind of like hidden. Like I didn't have a Facebook that I posted on just because that's where all the normies are.
Yeah.
And I finally, about 3 weeks ago, made my Facebook public. And I've gotten some text messages from friends
okay, nice.
that didn't know what I was doing, which is fine. My parents have both passed away, but honestly,
even if they were still alive,
they would be high-fiving me. My dad was like when I first got sexually active, I think I was freshman. I told my mom and she's like, well, tell your dad. And I told my dad and he's like, go get birth control. That was it, So my parents were very open.
Yeah, it's the same as like when you're a boy, it's like, oh, just make sure you have condoms.
Right, yeah.
Kind of thing. Because I can't stop you, but I'd rather you be safe.
Yeah, no, and they didn't really care. But I mean, I do have a couple cousins that I'm sure they'll see it and they won't be surprised because they know that I've been pretty wild. I was pretty wild, like as a teenager and stuff. So it wouldn't shock them, but I know they don't.
An adjustment, though.
They wouldn't want to talk about it, you know. So which is fine. I would never
browsing the internet. Whoa, there's a okay.
Yeah.
An eyeful I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, it's funny. I have this friend. Gosh, I think we've been friends for like 18 years. Our daughters used to dance together, do pageants together. Well, apparently he found me on Pornhub.
Okay.
Which, I mean, he was very nice about it. And he's like, I don't want this to be awkward. And then he went on to tell me like my acting was great and everything. I was like, oh, say it again,
Yeah.
But so, I am getting.
Well, and you can take inspiration from that for scenes.
Right.
Which, unless you've already done that.
Yeah, no, I haven't yet.
But the idea of a daughter's friend or son's friend.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's kind of common anyway.
Right.
But you can be like, this is almost, I mean, not the full, but some of it.
Yeah.
It'd be funny before a porn scene, inspired by true events.
Correct. Yeah, that's
which you don't see much.
No, that would be a funny one.
But what's great for you though is because the MILF category is one of the biggest and most popular categories, and there's never like you can't have too many super busty MILFs.
Yeah.
So because the the industry is such a revolving door.
Right.
So that as people take breaks or retire, it's like new ones will new people will come in.
Yeah.
So were you surprised, kind of like, did you get pretty popular pretty quickly?
I've grown way faster than I thought. Like, and the people that I've been working with that reach out and stuff, it's like, really? And not so much now because
you're getting more used to it.
Yeah, like, and I feel like I put out a good product and I get good feedback, and the creators the creators I work with are always like, oh, our scenes sell so well, things like that. So now I'm kind of adjusting to the fact that, oh, I am pretty good at this, know.
Having fans, like, essentially, because that's an interesting thing.
That's hard for me to even like say my fans.
I know.
Like that's I
have a hard time saying that too.
Yeah. because it's just weird. Like I'm not anybody
because
important.
It's almost like you're elevating yourself above other people.
Right. And that's not who I am.
Yeah.
I'm like such a connections people person. So literally like I'll tweet like, hey friends.
Yeah.
Like because I can't think of myself like special.
Yeah. And that might be a quality that your fans
right.
appreciate about you
right.
is because you have a more approachable demeanor to you.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting because you're at AVN now, and you're actually, because last year since this was doing content, now it's like you're going to meet some of those people.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I made sure I got in several booths, so I've got quite a few hours on the floor. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice.
So, because I know some creators don't want like any kind of, and not personal, like we're going to hang out.
No, just chattiness. Like, for instance, like if you talk for like 5 minutes with somebody.
Yeah, and I enjoy that. That's the part I enjoy is like the connections. Like basically the only thing different about me from my real life is my name.
Yeah.
Like I'm who I am because I couldn't make a persona and like
try to adhere to it.
Keep it right. Yeah. No, what you see is what you get. This is who I am. And so it's
have you encountered performers that they have that kind of dichotomy of personality where it is like when they're on set they're one way and then after they're done it's like switch off their civilian name or whatever they want to call that.
Yeah.
And whereas for you it's just you're
same
thing.
Yeah.
So when did you do your first pro scene?
I have not done. I did FTV. It's just a solo.
Okay.
But I've not done any pro scenes.
Are you looking to do that this year?
Probably this year is what,
Okay.
I'm shooting for that.
Okay. And are you going to reach out to companies or are you going to try to maybe get an agent or a manager to help?
I have Don DeMarco's my PR guy.
Okay.
And he's pretty well connected. And so we're going to sit down after AVNs and kind of see where I want to go.
Okay.
Because I just haven't really been sure, but now I'm almost a year in and I'm having a great time. That's always kind of been the barometer for me. If I'm having fun, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, of course.
And so I'm still having fun. So now let's go next level.
And what's great is if you're making your own content now and that's fun for you, you can try the pro stuff and say you're not into it, it's not your thing. You can still go back just to the
I'll never stop doing my stuff because that's residual
that's
forever and ever and ever.
That's the passive income.
Right. So, the pro stuff, yes.
It'd be nice for exposure.
Yes, for the exposure aspect, but I really struggle with like the one payment and then they own me.
They own it, yeah.
So, will I do it if I'm offered? Of course I will. I'd be silly not to, but, that's not main goal to be like, a nominated.
Well, it's almost like when a celebrity goes on a talk show, right? They usually don't get paid to go on those shows, but they know that being on the show with the audience that they're going to have, that's where the benefit comes in.
Yeah.
So, and what I'm hoping to do with this show is get it big enough that coming on this will be able to be beneficial to somebody.
Yeah.
So do you have any specific companies that you really hope to work with?
Not really.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. No, I really haven't. I just honestly haven't really even jumped into that side.
I guess because you're not as,
Yeah, I'm just not that just hasn't been a focus. What my focus has been is creating content so my fans get a brand new scene every single week.
Okay.
So that's,
So how often do you film?
Well, usually when I'm working, it's a couple times a week locally. And then I travel at least once a month.
Okay.
To go. And I like to, spend like 4 days and just get as much as I can.
So do you have a regular rotation like LA, Vegas that you go to?
I've been to Vegas more frequently just because it's cheaper to come here.
Do you fly or you drive?
I drive, but the stays are usually cheaper here than hotels in LA. So,
and LA's obviously had some problems recently, so that's going to make it
I won't be back there for
a little bit.
Yeah. So, but I come to Vegas pretty often.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. And when you create a scene, do you like to do scripted scenes or do you like to do more gonzo?
In the beginning, obviously, I liked the gonzo more. I don't mind the scripted, but I think like I've seen people do polls like for what people like, and they overwhelmingly, I always see they just like amateur.
Well, because they want it to feel real,
right? And so I don't like that cheesy,
like more staged, kind of performance.
Yeah, that I don't enjoy watching that. So I have a hard time making that.
It's almost like they want the camera to be like like peeping or
right.
a voyeur type camera where it's like. This would be the kind of sex you'd normally be having. It's just they're watching it.
Correct.
So, which I get. I mean, that's super super popular. I mean, there's people that started websites in the 90s doing that, and they're still doing it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm so new. I'm pretty much game for
trying stuff.
Within my boundaries because I have some.
You have some limits.
Yeah, I do have some limits still.
Okay.
That'll probably hang around until I'm a little further on,
Yeah. Well,
not going to give it all away in my first year.
Well, but the beauty of now being your own creator is you can do it at your own pace.
Right.
So, and if you're making a good amount of income from that, a company can't pressure you or try to convince you that, oh, well, maybe you should do DP. Maybe you should do anal. Maybe you should do a gangbang.
Yeah, no. And
so
I won't do any of those things first for a company.
Yeah, and for yourself.
It would be for me.
So
I own it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can always be like my first anal and
right.
it's like that's my scene that I
Correct.
will always get. Because companies, they might pay a little more for a first, but again, it's still a one-time payment.
Right. Yeah.
But I'd say since you started doing this, has there been anything that surprised you that like maybe you had certain ideas like this is how I think it would go and it went differently, or the way that the industry is, or anything that kind of stood out to you just as kind of a like you weren't expecting in a good way?
How nice most of the people are.
Okay.
And that like most people are like want to help you because it helps them.
It's all mutually beneficial.
Yes. And I've not come across really any jerks or anything like that. And I don't know if I've just gotten lucky, but I haven't had any issues. And also there's such a huge misconception that, oh, they do porn, they must be on drugs or they must drink a lot. And that could not be further from the truth.
If anything, those are liabilities.
Correct. Like you don't shoot if somebody's
high
or drinking or
drunk,
because the consent goes out the window.
Yep.
And so this,
it could be unsafe in a lot of ways.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to get with someone who's out of their mind because then I don't know what they're going to do to me, and so that's a huge misconception around the industry that everybody, in order to do this, they must have to, do a lot of drugs.
Well, I think it's this idea because there's still this idea that liking sex in that way, in such a strong way, and in just genuinely enjoying it seems kind of, I don't know if it's shameful or wrong, but and we'll discuss this when we get into your being into swinging lifestyle and that kind of stuff because you already had an open mind before, even though you had never thought about doing porn,
right?
So, and it just kind of seemed like all right, yeah, let's try it.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you think that this is going to be a long-term career for you? As
long as I'm having fun.
Okay, so so if you keep doing it, and then once you lose interest, it's
I mean, I don't foresee that because I really do enjoy it, and like I do enjoy the scenes themselves. Like
the creative process, or just the actual
doing it. Like that is fun for me.
Yeah.
I don't really perform per se. That's
you just have
me
sex.
having sex. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just you having sex and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure, again, your fans love because they know the one thing that again, there's performance, and performance is great.
Yeah.
Great performers are great performers.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said about knowing that the person you're watching is genuinely getting pleasure, having an orgasm and having that experience, because I feel like it feels more real.
Right.
So, and this business in the industry is really really catered to whatever you want. So you can be a creator that's more elaborate with sets and costumes and scripts, or you can just be like filming in a hotel room, meeting up.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, I met you down in the casino.
Yeah.
Liked your vibe. Let's have some fun.
Yep.
And that might be a real situation that would happen.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, obviously if they're tested, but
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying. But like the idea that
100%. Yeah.
So, because then that also makes you think like, maybe this could happen to me.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So, do you have any like professional goals? Like, would you, I mean, again, I know I asked if there were any companies and you said no, but is there something like, you'd want to be nominated for something? You'd want to like reach a certain level of maybe subscribers or followers?
Really just to grow.
Just to grow?
Just to grow my pages and.
Just see what happens?
Yeah. I mean, like being nominated is like really cool, I think, and that gets your name out there.
Yeah, it helps as a promotional tool.
But it doesn't change, at least in my mind. I'm going to keep being me and doing what I do. So whether I ever got an award nomination isn't going to hurt my feelings, I guess. Like I'll be okay.
Well, and that also might go to the fact of, being older and being a little more like, you know what, I'm just doing this kind of as for fun and it makes me money.
Right.
And I enjoy it. And that's really all that matters.
Well, and that's, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all here to make money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously being nominated is a cool honor.
Yeah.
But
like, for instance, with the like AVN category favorite MILF or whatever, there's like, sometimes there's like 50 nominees and it's a fan award. So it's based on fan votes.
Right.
Although that's the hardest one because that's the category with the most big boobs in it.
Yeah.
Typically. Other than most spectacular boobs, obviously.
Yeah.
But.
I mean, I'm coming in so late in the game. Like, how do you don't compete against the girls who have put their time in that deserve those awards year after year, So, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So how about we go to being a swinger?
Okay.
All right. So how long have you or do you still consider yourself one, or you don't consider yourself one anymore?
We're still in the lifestyle. We don't play as often as we used to, just simply because of testing and things like that. And honestly, we were never really that down to just get it on with anybody. Couple, we're really more like a connection. So we didn't play a ton before, but we like the sexy vibe, the environment. And, but yeah, we still hang out with most of our good friends are in the lifestyle. It's just easier to be yourself and be open and,
So how long ago did you start to do that?
So like, I think in 2019.
Oh, so not that long ago.
No, we were coming up on our 20th wedding anniversary, and I had heard about Temptation Resort. And so that led me into like a podcast, and they're swingers. And so then I started listening, and then I said to my husband, I was like, hey, like, I want you to listen to this. And then we literally just jumped both feet in. Our first event, we flew to Dallas for a big takeover. We had no idea what we were walking into.
Okay.
And ever since then, we've just been in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how was your sex life prior to that? Was it just a really
amazing.
healthy? Oh, okay.
Oh, amazing. I did, like, my husband used to be like a deacon in the church. And
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've always been way more open than he has. So I think it didn't take much nudging. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
But it was really me kind of like
leading the charge.
Yeah, because I like girls.
Okay.
And actually I didn't really play with men in the lifestyle because I still was like, had that church mind, like the dishonoring my husband. Like I had a hard time even like flirting with men. And obviously now that's all evolved and changed since I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we got in, I just had a hard time with that.
Okay.
Getting over that
Yeah.
churchy mind.
So would it be like you would go to events and then like you would play with another woman and he would play with the woman, or like he would just watch you two?
He would just watch or sometimes play, and we would try couple play, but that's always so hard to make a 4-way connection. And
because 2 people might connect,
right.
or 3 people, but there might be one who's left out.
Right. And so in the beginning, we played together, same room, and then I kept taking one for the team.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so finally I was like, okay, we got to switch this up. Like, we got to play separate. And so he played a lot more than I did for a while, just because I wasn't.
You were hesitant.
I just wasn't interested in a lot of the guys.
Yeah.
And I would always be disappointed. My husband's a freaking animal. And I would be like, so I'm getting my vagina dirty for this? No, you know? So that's actually been now fun for me because I get to have sex with guys on film that actually know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's actually been like way more fun than any of the lifestyle stuff we ever did.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
And did you ever, did you ever do like, were you ever sexually adventurous before you became swingers? Like, did you try interesting things, just the 2 of you?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
I mean, we have underbed restraints, floggers, paddles. We, you know.
Nice.
Yeah. All the things.
So did it seem like, opening the relationship just felt kind of like a natural progression at that point?
I wouldn't say our relationship's open.
Okay.
Like, because we don't text, or it's purely just a sex thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because there are people in the lifestyle who,
date
have,
others.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't do that. I just, don't have the time.
True.
Even when I wasn't doing this, I don't want to be texting somebody else.
Yeah, that's effort and energy.
Yeah,
into another
and that's
person.
not what it's about for us. And sorry, I lost my train I was off on the question.
Oh, just how, it was just about, that it was a natural progression to turning it, going from already experimenting and doing different things in the bedroom to, I said opening the relationship.
Right.
And
Okay.
then that's how you said it's not really open. It's just,
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it has been natural. It hasn't felt weird at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously when you first get in, there's bumps because you just don't know what's going to happen, you know, and we listen to a lot of podcasts, lifestyle podcasts, which was really helpful. And everybody talks about, we have these rules and these boundaries and all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you have rules, inevitably something's going to happen.
Well, I was going to say, have you had somebody that might have gotten a little too attached and they tried to like follow up and you're like, okay,
Yes.
that's not what's going to happen.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
But we came in and we said, other than we were doing same room, I was like, we'll just try whatever and then we'll talk about it after and see how we feel. Like the first time we played in the same room, my husband and the girl, the guy I was with, had been drinking. He was struggling a little bit. They were doing their thing. They finished. They wanted to go to the hot tub. And my husband was like, are you good? Are you good? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. Just leave me in here. We'll keep. And then the next day, I just woke up not feeling right about that. But that was when we were very new. So we just reassessed it and said, okay, we're going to keep playing in the same room for now.
Yeah.
So, but for us, we don't fight. We don't argue. They're like,
what do you attribute that to a strong core of the foundation of the relationship?
Oh yeah, like he's my best friend. We do everything together. Like he wasn't flying in till tomorrow, and I changed his flight so he could come today. I was like, I want you here. You know?
Yeah.
So he's coming a day early. And you definitely cannot get into the lifestyle thinking it's going to fix your sex life or your marriage, because it's just going to take it off the rails.
Have you seen couples that's what they tried to do and it just like destroyed them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like from jealousy or
jealousy.
Insecurity.
Yep. And one, isn't happy and you just can't, it's not a fix for sure. You have to have a solid core.
So it's almost the same as like people that think having children will fix a bad relationship. Correct. But that's even worse.
Right.
Because now there's the liability of another person who's going to, have to deal with the consequences of that.
Right. Yep.
Whereas, if a marriage breaks up, it's like I mean, it's still sad.
Right.
But if it's just those two people involved in that situation from that, so do you remember like what your first swinging experience was, or is it like, okay.
We were at the takeover in Dallas.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had
that.
a big open playroom, and it was another couple and us. It was just beds all over the floor, and they had like curtains like this kind of blocking off in the ballroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the girl and I were playing, and then we went back to our partners. And it's funny because my husband's a really quiet guy.
Okay.
And he like ripped off his shirt, and we just started going to town. And I was looking going, who is this? Because I never dreamed that he would be so like open.
Free about that?
Free. And like there were people in there. I was super shocked because I didn't expect that from him at all.
Nice.
But yeah, so it was a really fun, first time for us. So.
And so that probably did a lot to set a positive tone.
Right.
Because if you have a bad experience the first time, it seems like it would.
Right. Yeah.
You'd be like, maybe we shouldn't try that again.
Yeah. I mean, and there's been jealousy, me mostly in the beginning, and just unfounded. But now, it's.
How is it that you were able to kind of get over it? Did you talk with each other to make sure? Okay.
I swear, like, to be in the lifestyle, you have to have like the best communication, because otherwise, not only are you could ruin your marriage.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just talked through it, and it was all. Usually, I had a couple cocktails and just getting in my feels over dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And that was way in the beginning. Now it's like,
Well, I was going to say, at what point did you start to calm down? Was it just like, after you talked enough, or you'd done a few more events, and it was like, okay, well, what was it that worried you? Was it that he would connect with somebody on a more personal level?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I just don't know.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Just so like unfounded fear.
It just came about, and then you're like, why do I feel this way? I feel like I shouldn't.
Right. I never should. I mean, we're never getting divorced. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not even on the table.
Yeah.
And so you just go through those kind of emotions.
Well, and at least you were able to make it through that adjustment period.
Right.
Because otherwise, obviously you probably wouldn't have kept doing it if it just kept bothering you.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, did you think about that as a contingency? Like, hey, if we don't really like this, we can just go back to how it was. And
100%. At any time, either one of us can say we're done, and there's no
hard feelings,
coaxing. There's no questions. It's okay. Because it's just a fun thing we do. It's just an added little spice. We don't need it, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, at any moment. And same with me, what I'm doing. If he ever said, babe, I want you to not do this, I'd say, okay.
Yeah.
Because we're a team.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you still have a very healthy sex life just with him?
Oh, yeah.
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 So,
yeah, we actually filmed together some. He's,
okay.
Yeah, and he actually just did his first scene November. We did a foursome scene.
Okay.
With two other creators. And it was actually like a scripted full scene.
Okay,
So he did like a full scripted scene back in November.
What was the setup for that? Was it just like
like we had come from a swingers club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were staying at a condo here, so we set it up. Like we all came in from a swingers club, and yeah, it was a good one. I'm excited for that to come out.
Oh, so it hasn't been released yet?
No.
And that's going to be released on your platforms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably, but probably not till May or June.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've got content so backed up.
That's the thing is like when you shoot a lot, you're like you have a backlog.
Yep.
And it's like you want to release stuff. It sucks when you film something that you're like, this is awesome.
Right.
But you got to wait.
Honestly, all my scenes are awesome, so it's fine.
I know.
But I'm excited for him to like, because he's been like my stunt cock.
Yeah.
Or like
his debut, as it were.
Kind of, yeah, like a real live scene. Like we've done a threesome, male, female. But this is like a real deal. And it was cute because I'll go on these trips and it's exhausting. Like that's another thing people don't realize. And after it was the end of our trip. We filmed that last night, and then we were going home the next day. And he woke up and he's like, "Man, that was exhausting." And I was like, "Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now you know why when I'm on these trips and I'm like, babe, I'm so tired." You know?
Yeah, where that's coming from now.
Yeah, now he knows because he actually did it. So, yeah.
So would you say that when it comes to swinging that it's more based on like looks or vibes, would you say?
For me, vibes.
Okay.
I'm a vibes girl all day.
So you could see initially that maybe a person that you might not be super physically attracted to, but if you get along really well, you're like, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't really have a type.
Okay.
I don't like arrogance. I don't like obnoxious. I'm just a real vibe person, and I know pretty well right away when I meet someone if I would even be interested.
Yeah. Well, and that's I'm sure that opens you up to more to better experiences overall.
Oh yeah.
Because if you get along with the person,
right,
it's going to be easier, I think, to be comfortable with them.
Right. Yep.
Where, somebody based on looks, it's like, yeah, you might have a very strong physical attraction, but then when you realize they're like, don't really like this person.
Yeah, that's happened to me before. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, we won't do that one again.
Yeah.
Some
of the other people you've met, is that kind of the predominant mentality is vibes, or are there just some people that are like, they only go for like who they're attracted to?
I think there's several camps. There's people who are just down to get it on and they don't care with
anybody.
who. Yep, there's that crowd. And then there's like the vibes. And then there's people who are very selective, like, oh, they have to have a like you'll see a lot of profiles like, oh, we're bodybuilders. We only want to play with people who look like us. Which is totally fine. That's their preference.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just such a vibes person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, were there times where you, was that always kind of how you were even in your personal life before that? Was like, it was all about connection and wasn't so much about, not trying to say like you weren't attracted to your husband or anything. It's just like that a strong physical was not as important as just a strong like mental and emotional.
Well, yes, this time, because I've been divorced.
Okay.
And so from a total jerk. And so I kind of like changed what was important had changed because I had grown up a little bit and realized, my husband's hot as hell. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong on that. But had he been a jerk or, any of those things, it wouldn't have mattered.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just through and through, I'm a connections person. I love hard. I care about people. So connections is just so important to me in my life, period.
Yeah. Do you think that just naturally happens as we all get older because we realize that, when we're young, we're more driven by visual and more maybe superficial qualities in people as opposed to being like they look the perfect way that we want what we imagine we want a partner to look like. But then they're not good people. They treat you poorly. And then you realize, what? I just want somebody that treats me nicely, that makes me feel appreciated, that I can get along with, that I like being with. Yeah,
no, I have some friends who still are looking for the perfect. He's got to have, be this tall, like dressed like that. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, and you're still single.
Yeah.
So you would like to think people grow and mature, but I don't think.
It's probably individual then.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Would you say that there are, maybe for you personally, that there are some kind of standard swinging do's and don'ts in your experience? Like things that, for you, like it's kind of like this is how you should do it, or this is how you should not do it.
No, I just think it's super individual. Like for me personally, we, like I said, it's got to be a vibe. We don't usually play the first time we meet someone. That's very rare, but there's no one size fits all for the lifestyle.
Okay.
It's definitely for, what works. Like we have friends who never play together. My husband and I, we like to play together. I like to watch him. And I actually like to play with the girl with him.
Yeah.
So for us, like I enjoy watching him. Like there are other people who don't want to see their spouses. They don't even want to hear about it. if he plays separate from me, I want the rundown.
Yeah.
I want to know what he did, how she reacted. Like, I want all the details.
Does that serve as a turn on?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can actually use the experience from another to like fuel a sexual experience between the two of you? Okay.
Because he's amazing. And so I get pleasure knowing he's rocking some girl's world.
Okay.
Like, and in the beginning, I didn't think I wanted that. I didn't want to hear about it. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to know. And now I'm like, want all the details.
Yeah. Did that surprise you when you realized that you enjoyed that?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And of course, he's a guy. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, listen, you got to start remembering more because I want to hear it, you know? So he tries, but.
Was that reciprocal where you would tell him those experiences and he enjoyed hearing about yours too?
He likes to be there.
Oh, he just likes to watch it. Okay.
Well, he doesn't watch. We usually participate together. Like he doesn't like sit in a chair and just watch.
Okay.
If he's in there, we're in it together. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not like a cuck or any of that kind of stuff. No, we enjoy doing it together when we can.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, and you said that you mentioned that you love to travel. So I just wanted to see like, do you have any favorite places that you like to go?
I enjoy the beach.
So it doesn't matter what kind of beach?
Doesn't matter what kind, as long as I can just sit and relax. Because I'm a extroverted introvert, so my social batteries, so like beach vacations really kind of fill me back up because they're just slow. Relaxing. Or you can go, but it's just a real slow pace, and so that recharges me.
Do you have a few favorite destinations that you like to go to?
I like to go to Mexico. We go down to Puerto Penasco, which is Rocky Point. We can just drive down there from Phoenix. We like to cruise.
Okay.
Because then we get to, go to different islands and things. I do enjoy, like, over Tampa side of Florida, the white sand, the nice clear water over there. Yeah. I do enjoy that.
The Gulf side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it really any beach except the West Coast. I grew up in San Diego, and
they're cold and
hated the beach as a child, and now I crave that sand and just the serenity of that.
Well, because also California beaches are overcrowded.
Oh yeah,
the sand is coarse and it's not very they're not very nice looking.
No,
most of them.
Right.
Like maybe if you go up a little further into like Malibu, maybe they start to get a little nicer. But it's like, and the coastline's beautiful.
Right.
Like if you drive up Highway 1, like up the coast of California through like Monterey and Big Sur and stuff like it's gorgeous. But yeah, beaches, it's like you want them warm, you want this water clear.
Yeah, and the water not freezing and all the things, yeah.
Have you ever stayed at one of those resorts where it's got like the bungalows on the water?
No, that's on the bucket list.
That's on the list?
That's on the list. Yeah, they're just so dang expensive. And for me, I'm like, okay, we could do that one time this year. Or I could do like 3 vacations.
At other spots.
At another spot, So same thing, they have these lifestyle cruises that are a blast. All our friends do them, but they're like 4 times the cost. And I'm like,
we don't need that.
I'm like, I can go on so many more trips, so.
Well, hopefully, as your, the career progresses and maybe because obviously, you can always turn I don't know if you would ever try to film stuff to try to make it to try to get content on a vacation or
always I do.
Okay.
I always do. Yeah. We always try and get something.
Which in that case though, because you can't, it would probably just be you and your husband because you couldn't assume that somebody else you would meet like at a resort was tested and
correct.
All that stuff.
But if we go say to Miami, I always schedule a few shoots while I'm there. I'm there, might as well work a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's really not work. It's,
So besides the beach, are there any other type of destinations you like to go to?
Actually, we just went to New York for the first time.
Really? You'd never been there?
I had never been, and we went in late November, October, November, mid-November. And I'm not a city girl at all.
Really?
No, I'm not. And so
you like wide open spaces?
Yeah, but I did enjoy. We were there for just 5 days, so that was like the perfect amount. We had no itinerary when we went.
Okay.
My husband had found a couple, like I wanted a, authentic Italian and a couple things like, so we did that, but we just literally started out walking and would hop on the subway and go here, go there. Like I want to see the 9/11 memorial. There were like a couple, things but really no itinerary.
Is that usually how you travel? Because some people like to have everything scheduled.
No,
and other people like to be like, yeah, let's see where we head up.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah, except on cruises, like to new islands, we always will, pick what we want to do. That way we're not just dead in the water for a day.
Yeah.
But when we go on other kind of vacations, I don't like.
Well, it almost seems like it takes the fun out of it because then it feels like it's work almost.
Right.
Like you've got to schedule. Yep. We got to be here. We got to be here.
Yep. Well, and that's why we had never done something like New York, because you're there and you feel like, oh my gosh, you have to see all the things. Mm-hmm. And so I never want to do that. I just like to go with the flow.
Yeah. Do you have like I mean, this might be a weird question, but like, is there a favorite trip you've ever had? Like the best vacation that just stands out to you that you ever went on?
Well, my husband and I didn't do vacations until, our oldest son was, I think, a senior in high school. Because our kids were just so busy. I have 5 kids.
Yeah.
And so they were all involved in activities. So we had done like weekends and things. So I think it was, our son was a senior and the other kids were like freshmen, 7th grade. And our older daughter was out and we did a cruise. It was our very first cruise. And so that was just it being our first whole week away. Like we flew, we went out of, Florida somewhere. They all run together now. Yeah. But we did that. And then, so that stands out just because that was like after all those years, our first
real vacation.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I imagine the amount of relief and just be like,
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we go camping.
Okay.
Yeah. During 2020, when they said that we couldn't do anything, I was like,
we got to do something.
I was like, really? Watch me.
Yeah.
So we used to have a motorhome, but this time we just bought we glamp is what we do.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, but we tent it but we have a nice big, but I enjoy that. Just throwing my hair up, being out in nature.
Yeah. So there's some really impressive like glamping style resorts now.
Yeah.
Where you're like in the woods, but you're still in kind of a nice room.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I don't even mind our tent. We did Lake Powell. We've gone over to Newport Dunes, which is like it is a resort like you're talking about.
Yeah.
But still in the tent, just so I'm really, I do all kinds of vacations.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah.
And any like besides the resort on the water, any other like places that you are on your wish list that are high up that you want to go to?
We want to go to Europe.
Okay.
And actually, I was with some creators from the UK last night, and they were talking about XBiz in Amsterdam. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you've got to come for that. So
there's another big one. I think it's called Venus. That's in Berlin.
Okay.
So that's probably, I think that's their biggest.
Is it?
In Europe. So heard a lot of big boob women go to that one.
Do they?
I've been told to go to that one.
Yeah. Yeah, so Europe is definitely on the bucket list.
Okay.
And my husband's grandma's from Sicily.
Okay.
And so we'd like to get to
see that.
And, so
nice.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You want to talk about some boobs?
Sure.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with how many procedures have you had?
2.
2.
Yep.
Okay. So when did you get your first one?
In 2005.
Okay.
After nursing my last child for 2 years.
Okay.
So
that was more just you didn't like the way your boobs looked.
Right. And my kids had basically sucked the life out. Like I always had big boobs. I think by 7th grade, I was a D cup.
Okay.
So I always had big boobs. And so I got that procedure. And it was funny. My mom came out like the weekend after, and she's like, oh, you got your old boobs back, And that was 800 cc's at the time. And so she was like, oh, you just have your old boobs.
Okay.
And then I held on to those for 19 years.
Okay.
And then probably if I didn't start creating, I probably wouldn't have
gone bigger.
Yeah, I wouldn't have changed them. I would have just, left them. how they were.
So performing it made you decide you wanted to go bigger.
Well, I needed I was having like some issues, which didn't matter in my personal life. Like they weren't painful issues or anything, but like, so I needed them fixed. So then I did go bigger. It was funny when the doctor came in, like I'd sent all my goal photos. I went back to Fort Lauderdale to Dr. Revis, who's like the boob
guy.
god, the god. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy.
And he comes in and I'd showed him my goal pics and he's like, okay, so what's the max? And my husband's like, 1,400. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. That is not what we talked about.
Yeah.
So I said 13 was the max.
Okay.
And I end up with 1,250.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where you're at now.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to stay.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't have a desire to want to go bigger.
No, because I'm tiny.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and they're good and they're big.
Yeah. They
fit my body.
I'll be honest. I thought they were larger than 1250.
Yeah. So they're, you know, I think it's not like I'm falling over, you know, it's so I think I'll stay here.
So when you got your first pair, then it was just almost more just kind of corrective in that sense. So there wasn't as much of a like, was there any kind of reaction you had, or was like, oh, they're back?
No, it was just basically they're back.
Okay.
You know, new and improved. And my husband's a boob guy.
Okay.
So
then when you got these, then what was that like when you was that a bigger reaction? We're like, wow, now they're really big.
I don't think they're that big.
Okay.
Like,
I'm just
honestly,
saying.
yeah, for me, I'm like, it really wasn't much of it, like a huge change, really. I think they say you have to do 200 cc's for another cup size.
So that's 2 more cup sizes?
Yeah, so really,
all right.
You know, I don't wear a real bra, so I have no idea what.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Like, do you wear like sports bras, or you just don't wear bras?
Both sports bras or this little bralettes, you know, that just cover my nipples, really.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because it sounds like, you know, you're where you live, you probably don't have to cover up too much.
No.
So.
Yeah.
But like, did you always like huge boobs just in general? Like, is that something because you had them, or was it just like?
I've always had them.
Yeah.
So to not have them would be so weird to me.
Okay.
Like I've just always had boobs.
Okay. So when you, and because again, when you needed to get it fixed and to go bigger, again, was that decision because it was like, you know, this will help with work, or it's like you wanted to be a little bigger personally?
I think a little bit of both. But I think more so going bigger was the work aspect, like, because even the 800s were big.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but so I think, and my husband's a boob guy. Like he would have loved me, you know,
to keep going,
you
like
know,
2,000, 3,000.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, he's a boob guy. So you know, if I can make him happy that way, then the boobs it is. You know.
Yeah. Do you try to collaborate with other super huge boob creators as well?
No,
I
have not.
Okay. Is that something you're open to?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Most of the girls I've collabed with really don't have super huge boobs.
Okay.
You know, so.
And that's not something your fans have tried to request, or they?
My fans do not request like girl stuff from me.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's very, like I've done polls. Nope. They want to see me with BBC, young guys. Yeah. Okay. They like that from me.
All right. But would you say that most of your fans are probably boob guys?
Or I hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I'm just saying. Yeah,
I would hope so.
But and like when you got them, did you lose any sensitivity, or did you gain sensitivity?
I've not had any real sensitivity in them forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
does that mean like that like, do you like them roughly played with, or how, you know, or is it like if someone were to bite, it wouldn't, like, you wouldn't really feel it very much? I
don't like them too roughly played with. I paid a lot of money for
them. Sure. Yeah, not
like,
damaging.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you can get after them, and like the titty fucking is good, you know. So
nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, what would you say your favorite thing about them personally would be?
That I can wear really, really cute clothes and my boobs look great. Like, yeah, I fill out all the cute little, tops and things. Like, like I said, I'm pretty much the same in real life. Like my husband likes how I dress. He likes a little skin showing.
Okay. So what would your normal kind of day-to-day outfit? Because obviously, I feel like what you're wearing now, is this if it's just for the show or if it's more like you would wear something like that?
I would wear something like this for brunch. I'd wear this to brunch.
Okay.
Yeah. I usually wear little crop tops, little low cut type of stuff. Actually, I wore a sweater here yesterday and I was so covered. I felt so weird.
Really?
Because I had like a whole cute sweater because I went out to dinner with a friend. And so I was dressed like normal, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I usually dress.
Does Arizona have a lot of super busty women? You think? I mean, I don't know. Because in where you go, like if you were to go to brunch, would you have probably the biggest boobs there?
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, unless I go over like Scottsdale, where, you get a lot more.
There's more.
Yeah.
Because I know I have seen on social media that there are a good number of MILF performers in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, which I'm sure you've.
Yep, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's almost like an extension of, here in LA.
Yeah, we've got a lot of creators in the Phoenix area.
Yeah, the porn triangle.
Right. Yeah, and it's so nice. Yeah, and it's really nice for us because we can just go wherever. Yeah.
But were you surprised how big like boobs can get? Because it's like some people thought like, again, you thought you had big boobs already.
Right.
And the idea that, and again, you've got 1,200 now, but there, again, there's 2,000, 3,000, like.
Huge. Yeah. I actually, I think it was, I don't think, maybe at Avian's last year, I saw a couple of the girls with like. The giant. And then at Exotica Miami, there were quite a few. And I was just like, whoo,
Yeah.
So for me, I kind of, obviously they're not natural, but they fit my body and I can put on like the sweater I had on yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, my boobs were big under there, but not. So I kind of like that where I can dress them up or dress them down. You're
still at that range.
Right.
Because there is a size when you get to where that you can't do that anymore.
Right. And it also is like, everybody's body carries things differently. So you just, because these on somebody else could look like the 2000s,
Yeah.
So it just really, that's where a good surgeon comes in because they put them in and make sure it looks good,
Yeah. What kind of implants do you have?
Saline.
Saline. Okay.
Yeah, because silicone only goes up to 800 cc's. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's for safety? I think? Or is that
I just think that's as much as they manufacture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I also know that silicone for in terms of health stuff, like if there's ruptures and leakages, that there's, silicone's a lot more dangerous.
Yeah. I think they've changed them.
So that they're safer?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the saline.
Okay. How do they feel? I mean, are they pretty, like in terms of, are they firmer? Are they a little softer?
A little softer because I had breast tissue. So,
or are they over the muscle or under?
They're under.
Under, okay.
Yeah. So no, I mean, it's squishy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know some are just rock hard.
Yeah.
Like you could just bounce like.
Well, that's when the girls are so thin and didn't have natural breasts to begin with. Then you just feel the implant and that's it.
Yeah.
So for me, I've always had the breast tissue, so they do feel.
Yeah.
Nice and soft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and do you like huge boobs on other women?
Yes, but I like girls like say in a swinger situation, I like girls who are a little thicker. Like I would look at me and think I'm too thin.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like girls that are a little thicker.
Okay.
Like that's what I'm sexually attracted to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the boob size really doesn't matter as much?
I like, they got to have boobs and like thick ass.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you would you like big naturals then better?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
No. And again, I'm a vibes person. So
True. Yeah. I know. I'm just.
Yeah. But I mean, I like all boobs really. Big ones, little ones, natural ones.
Yeah. Because it depends on the person.
Right. Yeah. I don't really discriminate.
Yeah. So, and like, do you find yourself, when you're bored, like, because sometimes people just, they'll play with them just because they're there. Like, I don't know if you just, like, do you enjoy touching them or just.
No, because No.
Really?
I don't. No.
Okay.
I never get bored because I'm busy all the time.
Yeah.
So no, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so, everybody's different.
Yeah.
So, and have you had, do you have fans that have wanted you like to do just like boob content?
No, but I'll do like video calls topless a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have a lot of people who want to do video calls with me just sitting with my top off, and I don't really have to do anything else.
That makes it, yeah.
Yeah, they're just doing their thing while I'm sitting there topless for them. So.
Yeah. Are you naturally like an exhibitionist in that sense?
With my boobs, yes. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
you love
Oh, yeah.
taking them out?
I've been flashing them everywhere. Yeah, I've been doing that forever.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's...
Like topless beaches and topless pools and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. That's lifestyle parties, pool parties. I never wear a top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that just because you love your boobs so much?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Were they usually a pretty, popular feature when you would go to clubs?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I started wearing tops after a couple incidents at pool parties where people just think they can
Come up to you and
touch you. And so I started wearing a top.
Oh, okay.
And people started noticing. And I was like, well, that's because, these men get a little handsy. And just because you're in an environment does not give you carte blanche, and
To do whatever.
sometimes these guys forget that, especially, when alcohol and things get involved. So, yeah, but I like them out.
Well, and that's one thing I think also with huge boobs that kind of is it somewhat of a liability is because they're so big. People have, I mean, again, it calls to this natural, I think, attraction that anybody has because women will do the same thing. Women will come up and I've heard, try to grab them and, that's not good either because it's like, you want consent from anybody.
Correct. And it was one particular pool party and it was packed and I was getting out to go to the bathroom and no less than 3 people grabbed me and I just got out and I was like, what the just happened? What is going on? So, so after that I did start with that particular group of people, I started keeping my top on. So we don't hang out with that crowd much anymore, needless to say.
Well, because, that sounds like the anything goes, like everybody's just open game for anybody.
Right. And that's not ever, should never be the assumption.
No.
Yeah.
No. And that's one of the unfortunate things I think with having super huge boobs from what I've heard is just this idea that getting too familiar, especially in environments where people think, whether it's like an adult convention or a swingers event or something like that, where they think, oh, we're all here, we're all the same.
Right.
And it's like, nope, you're not.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, well, Karissa, come to the end of the show. I hope you had a good time.
I did. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, well, you were a wonderful guest. I hope you'd like to come back someday.
Absolutely.
All right, great.
Yay.
And to all of you out there in huge boob land, we will see you next time. Bye.